Good Saturday morning to you here on RSBN Live. You are looking live as they test the microphones there, get everything ready for this huge speech by President Trump for the Army cadets there in West Point, New York. Looking like it's not raining right now, which it was over the past 24 hours. So the sun may be coming out there, and of course President Trump will be there, and we'll have this entire speech and also some of the ceremonial stuff that starts. We'll have it for you. Just give you that feel of what it's like to be there in West Point. So looking live there, looking forward to seeing the president. Again, he was just obviously at the White House yesterday, on his way to New Jersey, and then now on his way to New York. I believe at this point he's actually already there in West Point, New York. So looking forward to this speech by the Commander-in-Chief. Again, the ceremony will kick off within the hour with the president's speech to follow. We have a number of sponsors here for this great broadcast as well. We'll be talking about them throughout the next 30 minutes or so. And also we will show you a number of videos from the U.S. Army, from their government account on X, just talking about the military, talking about all of the different things that are happening within the U.S. Army. And again, they're about to celebrate on June 14th, 250 years of being a part of this whole thing called the United States of America. Of course, 1775 they started, and then our country specifically delivered and founded in 1776, when they talked about, hey, this is what we're doing for the future. Here's the Constitution, here are the Bill of Rights, and on. So looking forward to seeing all of that coming up on June 14th. We'll have live coverage on Saturday, June 14th, of that huge military parade, the 250th celebration for the U.S. Army. So today, it's all about specifically the U.S. Army's, the cadets there, the graduate class of 2025. We'll have that in its entirety. I mean, we are so live early that you see what's happening there. The camera's getting nice and ready to go for this live event. Now, some of the reasons, of course, for even just some of the camera work there, obviously there may be some flyovers that are happening at the Army, just like yesterday with the Vice President of the Blue Angels at the Naval Academy. There may be some helicopters and other aircraft flying over. So always want to get that good vantage point, especially if you're looking up in the sun. You don't want to see dust on that lens. So getting everything ready to go as we move into leadership in the Army. Our first video from the U.S. Army. Let's go to that right now. All right, as soon as we get that all squared away with the technical difficulty there, we'll go back to that video in just a bit. But, you know, you think about the U.S. Army, not only are they protecting us in various bases around the world, they're also along the southern border. We'll have some video of that as well. So as soon as the director lets me know that the videos are ready to go, we'll go to some of those. In the meantime, we know the big, beautiful bill passed the Congress recently, the House of Representatives. So next up, it's the Senate. And then, of course, to President Trump's desk as it will hopefully pass the Senate just like it did in Congress. So we have that opportunity to leave a voicemail or to call, the Senate, your senator, wherever you're living right now, and to talk to them about the big, beautiful bill and the reasons why you'd like it to pass. Over the week, we really shared a lot of information about the 20 reasons why, it would be good to have the big, beautiful bill passed. And it does include more for the southern border, for the wall to be complete, for more agents to be along the border, for our taxes to go down. So many great things for farmers and just small businesses. And I was thinking about small businesses yesterday. A shout out to any of you that are an owner or in management or working at a small business across this country. You are what really fuels this economy. It's a huge percentage. More than 50% of our economy comes from small business. So shout out to every one of you. I've worked for some small businesses before, whether it's a restaurant, whether it's whatever, and I get it. It's not an easy task. There's a lot of work, but when that paycheck comes in, it's pretty nice and sizable, hopefully, at the end of the day. So a lot of great small business owners out there working very hard for our country. So at this point, we're not getting any of the videos working, so we'll try and get back to a number of them. We had, I think, 6 of them ready to go for you. If we don't get to them now, it's okay. We'll be able to play them another time, but you can also check out the U.S. Army videos on X as well. So we have a lot of great opportunities for you to check that out by just simply going to X, but also within Truth Social, we can check out a number of things as well as we look to see. On RSBN, we see, of course, live, President Trump delivers West Point commencement address. So that was posted 3 minutes ago. So those of you joining us right now, thank you. Specifically, those of you joining us on the great streaming platform, AKA the great streaming platform would be Rumble. We have nearly 575,000, so more than 500,000 subscribers just on Rumble on our channel there. So let's grow that way past the million mark. I know on other sites we're over the million mark, but still, Rumble, obviously a great place to go for all of your streaming needs, but also live events like right now as we're here at 9:07 this morning. Thanks so much for streaming in with us. Looking forward to seeing President Trump here at the West Point commencement speech for the Army cadets, the Army grads, the class of 2025. Always fun to see President Trump, especially in these kind of environments. I mean, that is a beautiful, beautiful backdrop right there. You see the American flag, the podium, the seats there. This is going to be awesome to watch. And then hopefully there'll be a flyover. Speaking of flyovers, I was talking the other day about never seeing the Blue Angels do a flyover, excuse me, and in central Pennsylvania, and near my hometown, in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, at the International Airport, there's going to be a Central Air show involving the Blue Angels and other military aircraft. So looking forward to seeing that, hopefully, and it's going to be awesome to check that out. Now, in the meantime, as we're seeing people starting to file in at the commencement address, let's go to some of the videos from the U.S. Army. This is all about leadership. Take a look.
Hello and congratulations to our newly commissioned officers. I'm Dan Driscoll, Secretary of the Army. Today isn't just about putting on your gold bars, it's about embracing the Army's 250-year legacy, and the legacy you've already begun through your decision to join us. On behalf of the President, Secretary of Defense, and the entire Army, congratulations on your achievements and your decision to serve in the world's most powerful land fighting force. You are now joining the ranks of soldiers who, for 250 years, have answered the call to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. Our Army needs leaders who prioritize warfighting, excellence, and who take care of those around them. Our soldiers need leaders who always do what's right, lead by example even when it's difficult, and empower soldiers to succeed. I can say with absolute confidence that our soldiers are the very best that our nation has to offer. They can do anything when we enable them. So embrace this responsibility, lead with integrity, and embody the oath you swore today. I'm proud of you for taking this step and joining our ranks, and it is an absolute honor to serve as your secretary. Thank you, and may God bless you, our soldiers, and the United States of America. This will defend.
That from the Secretary of the Army as we take a live look at the White House, the American flag flying high there. Looking forward to seeing what President Trump announced last month about the 2 100-foot flagpoles with Old Glory flying on each side of the White House. That's going to be so awesome to see that. And we're looking forward to showing that to you here once we see that that is constructed. Now, that might be happening within the next month or so. So we'll bring that to you as we get it. This is all brought to you by a number of great sponsors today as we get ready to see President Trump in West Point, Colonial Metals Group. You're talking freegoldguide.com/RSBN because that QR code right there will give you a free info kit on gold, silver, the backup plan to the dollar, especially within retirement and savings, that maybe cushion of money some of you may have out there. Well, if you'd like to slide that over to gold and silver, you can do so with Colonial Metals Group. All you have to do is go to freegoldguide.com. You can get the ball rolling by doing so. Now, we're talking about the 401k, the tax-sheltered IRA, all 100% tax-free. As China tries to, buy up some farmland, and it's just our financial situation as we continue to watch Maganomics grow and develop and do even better. Still having gold and silver as a backup plan, a great idea there. So that's Colonial Metals Group. Also, allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. RSBN 20 is the promo code. You get 20% off. This sale goes into the end of next month. It's not a sale that they usually have at 20%. It's usually at 10%. So this is pretty cool to see that. Ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, methylene blue, more than 200 essential medications right there for you. All you have to do is go to allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. Obviously a partner here at the network. We've been interviewing the owners and also a pharmacist and Lars Larson of the Lars Larson Show speaking on behalf of the company, all talking about, hey, you know what? If a doctor or a pharmacy says, no, we're not going to write that for you, that prescription for ivermectin, it's for something else. It's not for what you have. And you just know that you want ivermectin because we've seen other doctors say this works for that X, Y, and Z situation, disease or bacteria or virus. You can get it through allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. So a great sponsor here at the network. Also, freetrumpbook.com, another great sponsor, Free Trump Book. Mike Huckabee, the U.S. ambassador to Israel. He was just in Israel a couple weeks ago, speaking there outside of the embassy in Jerusalem. Great to see it there, and also great to see freetrumpbook.com. A lot of great topics there for you to check out. So go ahead to freetrumpbook.com, get yours today. All right, so 9/12 this morning, Saturday, May 24th, getting ready to see President Trump from West Point. The Army grads will be the class of 2025 graduating today. What a great way to graduate with the leader of the free world, the guy that overcame so much in politics and against just good versus evil, on the side of good and winning as the commander-in-chief. Yes, there's a lot of work to be done yet. We all see that. He knows that. But holy smokes, since January 20th, he has been winning, and we're looking forward to seeing more of that, including within the law and order spectrum of justice being served where it needs to be. So we want a huge win, of course, for the midterms 2026 and for President Trump's agenda to continue for all 3 years and 8 months of this awesome administration with all these great cabinet leaders. So to those of you watching from the United States military this morning, including the Army, of course, you're about to celebrate from 1775 to 2025, 250 years within the Army. Thank you guys so much for watching. Those of you that have lost loved ones watching, that have served overseas or in this country, thank you so much for watching. We're with you. Our heartfelt condolences to all of the people that are missing their loved ones so much, especially this weekend being Memorial Day. I was looking at some photos from Arlington National Cemetery on DVIDS. DVIDS is the Department of Defense's kind of media, and I was looking at some of the photos of some of the soldiers who are putting American flags at the grave sites and saluting people that have fallen, and we're with you. This is all a family together, and we need each other to win. And we just thank you so much for watching this broadcast as we get ready to see President Trump speak in West Point, New York, and it's just going to be great to see him there. Also, speaking of the military, let's go to a video about getting ready for the June 14th 250th celebration. We have a U.S. Army video on their X account. Take a look. And there are the seats there getting ready for the cadets to line the field there. The president already in West Point at this point. Looking forward to seeing him, looking forward to seeing the cadets, looking forward to just enjoying this moment together on this Saturday, May 24th, 2025. Good morning to you. And also, did you know that President Trump just made an announcement about a huge rally in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania at U.S. Steel on May 30th? We'll have that right here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. We'll go over some of the programming notes coming up as well. But that's coming up next Friday, a rally in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We will have that coverage, of course, right here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. Before we go to some more of the U.S. Army videos, including along the southern border, and also the fact that they're using new tech to be ready at a moment's notice, we have some more videos to show you. Let's go to a commercial break. I'm Matthew Alvarez. We'll be right back.
I'm Elmer Heinrich, the 91-year-old formulator of Immuno 150, an incredible nutritional supplement. There's nothing like it. Now, Immuno 150 is different because it contains 70 plant-derived minerals and 80 other nutrients. Dr. Linus Pauling, known for vitamin C, was instrumental in convincing me to get into the mineral business in 1983. He said the world is sick due to a lack of minerals in topsoil. He said the body needs 60 minerals, but the average food and supplement has no more than 12. That's the reason for Immuno 150. Since its inception, it's had a powerful impact on the lives of thousands of people who could not get any help from various supplements they took or their doctor. Now, I suggest you try Immuno 150 to see what 70 minerals, CoQ10, and 80 nutrients can do for you. Look at the 2 videos on our website. Millions have. Now, consider placing an order for Immuno 150 online or call our toll-free number. I know you'll be glad you did.
President Trump is keeping his promises and saving America. And your kids can learn all about it for free with a new Kids Guide to President Trump. This fun guide shows kids all the steps President Trump is taking to put America back on top of the world stage, including building a strong economy, protecting our borders, and negotiating trade deals. It's an exciting way for kids to learn about President Trump's outstanding leadership. Act now and get a free bonus guide, The Courage of the President. Order now at freetrumpbook.com. That's freetrumpbook.com.
Welcome back. West Point, New York, looking live there, getting ready to see the president. And within the hour, he's scheduled to speak specifically at 10:15 this morning on the East Coast. Those of you waking up really early out there on the West Coast, hello to you at 6:18 in the morning. Also, there will be, some ceremonial things that will happen prior to the president's speech. So we'll have that in its entirety, including any flyovers that happen. That'll be awesome to see it. Director, on the fly, no pun intended, do we have the video just from yesterday's speech from the Naval Academy? If you just let me know if we do get it, where the Blue Angels did a flyover. So a shout out to the Navy yesterday and a shout out to, of course, the Army here as we are live. All right, let's go to the just within the 24-hour news cycle. Just a shout out to the Navy with this huge flyover just yesterday.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Blue Angels, the Navy's Precision Flight Demonstration Squadron, will be approaching momentarily from the south behind us in a salute to the class of 2025.
I'm widening out, but I'm not going to get the angle. You don't think so?
Okay, so obviously that happened just yesterday, actually yesterday morning with the Vice President there in Annapolis, Maryland. Now, of course, we switch our attention north to West Point, New York, where the Commander-in-Chief, President Trump, will be speaking today, delivering a commencement address. I believe this is going to be a very powerful, powerful speech. And I always like to hear President Trump's commencement addresses because I like when he gets into, hey, here's the list of how to be successful. He did that at the University of Alabama pretty recently. Whether he touches on that or not, I mean, it's still awesome to hear this, the commencement address aspect of President Trump's delivery. So it's 9:20 this morning. He's scheduled to speak at 10:15. And just a bit from now, the ceremonies will start. Obviously, no one there yet, but we're here, and we're glad you are too. All right, so let's go to another Army video. Using new tech to be ready at a moment's notice. Take a look.
We are generally used to having air superiority, and our lift and attack helicopters has generally dominated the close air above the brigade combat team. It's different today, though, because we've got such a high density of drones that the drones essentially are going to constantly be in the airspace. And so to bring aviation into an air corridor requires very tightly controlled airspace coordination measures where we're deconflicting by altitude and by lateral airspace. So we've put a lot of work into airspace management during this exercise. The battlefield is rapidly evolving, and as a transformation and contact unit, we're here at JMRC testing a number of new capabilities that the Army is looking to rapidly implement into our forces. So for us, it's really three areas of focus. The first is our communications network, how we talk, how we communicate on the battlefield, using a range of new communication systems that allow us to transport data over satellites, cell towers, line-of-sight radios, and other means. The second is the use of drones. We have more drones here at this rotation than a combat training center has ever seen before. And so we are looking over the course of this exercise to help validate our new organizational concept that allows us to employ drones well forward of our manned positions to both sense the enemy and then to strike and destroy before our ground forces make contact. And the third is mobility. We have a number of new mobility platforms that allow us to transport troops and equipment throughout the battlefield in ways that light infantry forces have not had before. Transformation and contact isn't just about new equipment. It's about new tactics, new techniques and procedures. It's about new organizational design. So as we plan for how we conduct operations as a brigade, as a transformation and contact unit, that requires us to think differently about how we're going to fight and how we're going to integrate many of these new technologies into our formation. So it's been a great opportunity for our leaders throughout the brigade to be able to think about new ways to plan and to conduct operations.
And pretty recently, Summer Lane, one of our writers, of course, with Right Side Broadcasting Network, she and other writers here have had some of their articles retruthed by President Trump. Recently, Summer wrote an article about the military and how they're using 3D printing to create drones along the southern border. Literally, 3D printing making drones. They're just, sticking with learning about everything that's going on and whatever they can get a hand up on or a lead on what's going on along that southern border. We'll have a video from the Army on the southern border coming up in just a minute. But prior to that, you're looking live, of course, at West Point as we are here looking forward to seeing President Trump speak to the West Point grads, the cadets themselves. They'll be there, and we'll be looking forward to seeing any flyovers. I'm sure there'll be one or at least two. We'll see. Looking forward to that. Just like yesterday with the Navy, with the Blue Angels flying over, I'm sure there'll be some just a powerful scene of some Army helicopters flying over there. Now, also, speaking of helicopters, so the 250th celebration for the United States Army on June 14th, which you can watch right here on Right Side. It's a Saturday, June 14th. Of course, Flag Day, President Trump's birthday, and the U.S. Army parade. It's going to be all in Arlington, Virginia, the National Mall in D.C., and the Pentagon with fireworks and all that. But before that, you're going to see more than 6,000 soldiers. You're going to see more than 100 Army vehicles. And then on top of that, some helicopters there. So looking forward to that coverage on June 14th. Obviously, looking forward to seeing the president today. And since I'm kind of on the programming side of things right now, looking forward to Friday, May 30th, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. President Trump will hold a rally in Pittsburgh to celebrate U.S. steel and steel manufacturing right here in the U.S. of A. And that's great for, think about it, if you remember some of the history of Pittsburgh, the Steel City, right? The Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, it's such a huge spot for steel back in the day. It's dried up since, but now there's a few things going on there, of course, with U.S. Steel, but now it's ramping right back up and going to bring a lot of money and jobs and success to our country, thanks to a guy by the name of Donald J. Trump, the Commander-in-Chief that we're going to see here speak at West Point. So really looking forward to that. Also, on X about 18 hours ago, I talked about this yesterday, but I think it's important to bring up. The Department of Government Efficiency is giving a shout out to the state of Louisiana. Great job by the Louisiana Secretary of State using new and free the federal SAVE database to ensure voter integrity. So this SAVE database specifically discussed here by the Louisiana Secretary of State says, Louisiana is the first state to use the new DOGE voter list maintenance database. By using the information now made available to the states at no cost, we could check our voter list to ensure that only eligible Louisiana citizens are registered to vote. Keeping voter rolls clean. That's from Nancy Landry at the Louisiana Secretary of State. So pretty awesome to see that just yesterday. I know that right now, for me specifically, X is not loading. I don't know if that's the same situation for you out there, as we are seeing various vantage points there at West Point as they're getting ready for the president. The seal is already on the podium. Great to see that. But again, X looks like it's not loading right now on Truth Social. That is good to go. And also, those of you watching on Rumble right now, thank you for doing so. As we are approaching the bottom of the hour before we get to 9:30, why don't we go to a commercial break? We'll be right back.
I'm Elmer Heinrich, the 91-year-old formulator of Immuno 150, an incredible nutritional supplement. There's nothing like it. Now, Immuno 150 is different because it contains 70 plant-derived minerals and 80 other nutrients. Dr. Linus Pauling, known for vitamin C, was instrumental in convincing me to get into the mineral business in 1983. He said the world is sick due to a lack of minerals in topsoil. He said the body needs 60 minerals, but the average food and supplement has no more than 12. That's the reason for Immuno 150. Since its inception, it's had a powerful impact on the lives of thousands of people who could not get any help from various supplements they took or their doctor. Now I suggest you try Immuno 150 to see what 70 minerals, CoQ10, and 80 nutrients can do for you. Look at the 2 videos on our website. Millions have. Now consider placing an order for Immuno 150 online or call our toll-free number. I know you'll be glad you did.
President Trump is keeping his promises and saving America. And your kids can learn all about it for free with a new Kids Guide to President Trump. This fun guide shows kids all the steps President Trump is taking to put America back on top of the world stage, including building a strong economy, protecting our borders, and negotiating trade deals. It's an exciting way for kids to learn about President Trump's outstanding leadership. Act now and get a free bonus guide, The Courage of the President. Order now at freetrumpbook.com. That's freetrumpbook.com.
Welcome back to RSBN Live. Okay, so President Trump's scheduled to speak at 10:15. Outside of that venue there, I'm sure the line and of cadets and everyone is right outside of that stadium, the football stadium there where Army plays in West Point. It'd be great to see a football game there at Army or anywhere for our military. It'd be great to see, but that looks like a nice setup there as we get ready to go there live. However, obviously not seeing anyone there yet, so we'll be going there a little bit later. In the meantime, let's go to one more U.S. Army video from the X account of the U.S. Army, and then we'll also be showing you a video from the Department of Defense when it comes to the southern border for our Army and also the Marines, the National Guard, Customs Border Protection, Navy, the Coast Guard, all doing an awesome job, including local, county, and law enforcement, sealing the southern border, not having anybody come across, and really on the open seas also, or on the open sea, trying to intercept as many alien vessels, that's what they're called, the illegal alien vessels, little boats, maybe 14, 15 people, but sometimes what they have are narcotics as well. So stopping that inflow of drugs, cocaine, or also fentanyl, and some of that cocaine could be laced with fentanyl, who knows, but that's what the problem has been. You know, the fentanyl precursor drug from China has gotten into these drugs, and people, you know, in the country taking drugs and then not making it past the night because there's fentanyl inside. So yeah, there's a terrible situation all the way around there. So we see that the president's working to continue to stop that via the extension of Customs Border Protection, ICE, the Department of Homeland Security, and the military and local law enforcement throughout our country. So a shout out to everybody doing a great job out there. We just are looking forward to seeing just more and more wins happening. All right, let's go to that video for the U.S. Army. I believe we have one more before we go to the southern border video. This is upgrading to new equipment. Director, did we just play that one, or do we have another one of that? Okay, so let's go to the Secretary of Army video right now.
With President Trump's leadership and his kind of incredibly high risk tolerance, we were empowered and given the top cover to basically go fix the things that are broken. And so fundamentally what Army Transformation Initiative, what we call ATI, is it does four things. So the first bucket of things that it does is it looks at our obsolete equipment and processes and the things that have led to bad outcomes, and we stop buying those things. And so some examples of that are Humvees. We have Gray Eagles, which are big, large drones that have been around for decades, and they just don't fit on the modern battlefield. And a robotic combat vehicle, an RCV, it's an exquisite $3 million piece of equipment that can be taken out by an $800 drone. The math just doesn't work. Bucket two is what has led to the types of contracts that have gotten us into these outcomes that we don't want. So in some instances, we have given away our right to repair our own equipment. We would see this exquisite equipment sitting on the sidelines for 8 or 12 months at a time, and our soldiers could 3D print the $2 to $20 part to get it back in the game. Bucket three is essentially taking the savings from cutting the obsolete equipment and recycling it to the things we know we need. Modern warfare is going to be a mixture of autonomous vehicles and drones and data. It's buying all of that equipment and really just giving us a command and control layer for the modern battlefield. And then bucket four is the bloat. We have just too many people up in our leadership. And so we're going to do things like cut 1,000 people from the Pentagon. We're going to push those soldiers that are stuck up here pushing paperwork around. We're going to get them back in helmets, get them back in formations to do the jobs that they actually signed up wanting to do.
So the Secretary of the Army, speaking about what I was talking about earlier, the 3D printed drones, that's news to me. I learned about it maybe a month ago, just the fact that our military is exploring with that and going to have those 3D printed drones along the southern border to really keep an eye out on any other drones, because I heard from someone within ICE saying that there are drones that the drug cartel uses to either drop narcotics or to monitor where movements are happening. So that's a whole thing that I was unaware of. I don't know if you knew about it, but on the southern border there. So usually you think of, okay, you have the wall, you have our soldiers, the Army Stryker vehicles, you have the Marines, you have the National Guard, you have Customs Border Protection all working together. Out on the water, you have the Coast Guard and the Navy. Everybody's down there really trying to secure this thing, and it is secure. But now there's this drone situation where the terrorist organization, aka, or vice versa, the drug cartel, aka terrorist organizations, are using drone, I wouldn't say warfare, but just drones to monitor and to do illegal acts. So now our military is using our own drones, which they already have been, but they're also creating these new 3D printed ones. I didn't know you could even do that. I know you can do 3D printed other things, but I didn't know about drones. That's pretty cool. All right, so let's go to a few sponsors as we get ready to go there to the Army. We do know that the President is scheduled to speak at 10:15. It's kind of quiet there right now, so we'll see when that all happens, but we'll be here for it and looking forward to showing it to you here live. Colonial Metals Group is a great website when you go to freegoldguide.com/RSBN, freegoldguide.com/RSBN for a tax-sheltered IRA, 401k, all backed in gold and silver. So those of you that have a little bit of retirement or savings, if you want to slide some of that money over to gold and silver, you can do so through Colonial Metals Group. you know, those BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, using their own currency and not wanting to use the US dollar and all the different stuff that's going on out there. Always good to have that safe bet with gold and silver, but also looking forward to seeing President Trump's Maganomics continue to increase and have inflation go down. And it's all happening. It's great to see it. You can go to freegoldguide.com/RSBN for that free info kit on gold. Another great sponsor is allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. You can save up to 20%. This is just this week it started the 20% savings. So you can actually order in bulk. If you want ivermectin, if you want amoxicillin or penicillin, or if you want hydroxychloroquine, methylene blue, more than 200 essential medications are available there, including antibiotics. So there's a Z-Pack, there's all sorts of stuff. You can have different kits, first aid kits, all kinds of travel kits. So go ahead and check them out, allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. When your pharmacist or your doctor doesn't want to write you a prescription for ivermectin, well, you can go to allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. They have doctors in 50 states to go to. They also have 4 pharmacists on hand ready to go to help you out. So allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. Also, you can go to freetrumpbook.com. One other sponsor we have for today's broadcast. Of course, you see Mike Huckabee on the bottom right of your screen there, the U.S. ambassador to Israel, but also he and his team writing some great books for the youth of America, but also it's a good reset for just those that maybe need a little detox in the mind. Maybe you're brought up a certain way and were indoctrinated by a college professor or the media or whoever, some politician that's a liar. Well, now you can get a little reset on that and go to freetrumpbook.com. So many great topics on there. You should check them out. There's a lot of them on there. So freetrumpbook.com. At 9:37, Saturday, May 24th. Thanks for waking up with us as we're seeing some activity now there in the West Point, New York location where the Army grads will be celebrated today, the class of 2025. As we get ready to see President Trump there in just a bit. So as we are seeing that, we're going to go to a video quickly, and then we'll come back to this and take it live. Let's go to the video at the southern border of the U.S. Army. This is them actively within the past month there along the southern border.
Come on, Ben, let's go. No, hurry up. That's like, where you going?
Roger, same.
If you're just joining us, that's the U.S. Army along the southern border doing a great job down there, along with other branches of the military, Customs Border Protection, ICE, DHS. I mean, there's so many people to thank, including law enforcement, local, county, state, all saying, finally, I'm getting paid to do this job that I wanted to do, and now I can protect our country, protect our soil. It's awesome to see it. Let's go there live to West Point, New York, and we'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, today the West Point class of 1975 will present commemorative second lieutenant bars to members of the class of 2025 as they take their place in the long gray line. The class of 1975, which will celebrate its 50th class reunion here at West Point this fall, has developed a special relationship with the class of 2025. Since June 2020, members of the class of 1975 have engaged with and supported the class of 2025 every step of the way, from our day to graduation. The cadet phase of bonding and mentorship between these two classes culminates today when the class of 1975 presents a set of second lieutenant bars engraved with 75-25. The representatives of the class of 1975 presenting the bars have distinguished records of service to the armed forces and the nation during times of war and in peace. I will introduce them to you now. Seated on the north side of the dais, to your left, the Honorable Robert Wesley Hayes, Jr., class of 1975 President, and Dr. William Forrest Crane, class of 1975 Vice President, United States Army, retired. Seated on the south side of the dais, to your right, Lieutenant General Mark P. Hertling, United States Army, retired, and Mr. Timothy F. Shagru. Gentlemen, we welcome you back to attend this special graduation ceremony. It is a pleasure and honor to have you here with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a round of applause for the class of 1975 and their outstanding dedication to the class of 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, and members of the class of 25, just as the long gray line represents the connection of all graduates throughout the Academy's storied history, today's faculty processional recognizes the dedication and academic excellence of all United States Military Academy faculty, both past and present. Please welcome representatives of the faculty of the United States Military Academy. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the platform our distinguished guests. United States Congressman from the state of Arkansas and West Point Board of Visitors Chairman, the Honorable Steve Womack. United States Representative for New York's 18th Congressional District and West Point Class of 2004, the Honorable Pat Ryan. the Commandant of Cadets, Brigadier General R.J. Garcia, the Dean of the Academic Board, Brigadier General Shane R. Reeves, the Athletics Director, Mr. Thomas Theodorakis, the Senior Advisor for Character Integration, Dr. Jeff Peterson, the West Point Chief of Staff, Colonel Con Deep, the United States Military Academy Command Sergeant Major Phil Barretto, the United States Corps of Cadets Command Sergeant Major Tony Powers, members of the Academic Board, and other senior Academy leaders. Sound attention. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the entrance of the official party group.
Present arms! Stop.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 25th Secretary of the Army, the Honorable Daniel P. Driscoll. The 41st Chief of Staff of the Army, General Randy A. George. The 61st Superintendent of the United States Military Academy, Lieutenant General Stephen W. Gillen. Ladies and gentlemen, the 45th and 47th President of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the invocation by the United States Military Academy Chaplain, Colonel David Bolas.
I invite you to pray with me. Praise be to the Lord my rock, who trains my hands for war and my fingers for battle. Almighty God, we are gathered here with hearts full of gratitude and pride as we witness the graduation of the West Point class of 2025. We thank you for bringing each graduate to this major milestone today. We thank you especially for your presence when they were plebes under pressure, for providing patience as they learned to lead as yearlings, for their commitment and courage to affirm as cows, and for faithful friends who will finish together as firsties. And just as you have been faithful in the past, be their ever-present help in the future. Thank you for the teammates around them, their family and friends, instructors and sponsors, tax and trainers, mentors, and yes, even their tormentors, who stood with them over the last 4 years. Through them, you ensured these West Point graduates are prepared to lead America's sons and daughters in peacetime and in war. Bless this ceremony today with your presence. Bless our president as he leads and inspires us. And God bless the United States of America. In your holy name, I pray. Amen.
Take seats. Please be seated.
Staff, read. Cover. Take seats. Staff, dismissed.
Please welcome the 61st Superintendent of the United States Military Academy, Lieutenant General Stephen W. Gilland.
Thank you.
Mr. President, Congressman Womack, Congressman Ryan, Secretary Driscoll, General George, our Chief of Staff of the Army, distinguished guests and alumni, teammates, family and friends, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to West Point, home of the United States Military Academy. We are tremendously honored to have you here today to celebrate the 1,002 outstanding cadets of the class of 2025 as they graduate and commission as the newest officers and leaders of character in your United States Army. First, a very special welcome to the parents, grandparents, siblings, family, and friends of our graduates who are here today. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you all for the love and support and encouragement that you've given your cadet along their journey at the United States Military Academy. I'd like to acknowledge the members of the 50-year affiliate class for our graduating class, the Courage and Drive class of 1975. Thank you all for supporting, mentoring, and inspiring these new leaders over the past 4 years. You are all wonderful exemplars of leadership, excellence, and selfless service. And we are grateful to you for demonstrating the strength of the long gray line to this outstanding class. Class of 2025, together we thrive. Congratulations and well done. Today, your cadet experience at West Point may come to an end, but today really marks a milestone in your personal journey as you assume the mantle of leadership as officers in our Army. We know you all are looking forward to what's ahead. Travel, school, BOLC, Ranger School, Sapper School, moving, living on your own. Some of you are getting married in like the next 6 hours. That's right. However, for all of you, I just ask of you, take a moment. Take a moment during the next few weeks while you're enjoying some free time to reflect on your time here. Think about all the opportunities and experiences that you've had and the challenges you've overcome on the road to becoming a leader of character. Think about the hard work, some blood, a lot of sweat, as well as the grit, toughness, determination, and the continual pursuit of excellence. Think about the friends you've made and the relationships developed, the camaraderie with teammates, the TACs, instructors, coaches, and old grads who've encouraged and mentored you, and the family and friends who supported you and cheered you on. Take a moment to appreciate and thank all the people who've helped you get to this point, and be grateful for all the experiences and opportunities that have helped shape you these past 4 years. As you pursue this journey as a leader of character, remember, today is about the responsibility of service to our country and to the American people. Today is about challenging yourself, challenging others to be better teammates, better officers, better leaders of character. It starts with you each and every day. Today is also about the responsibility of leadership as Army officers. Your responsibility to support and defend the Constitution of the United States, to be standard bearers, to lead by example and embody what right looks like. Most importantly, today is about your responsibility, your obligation to the citizens of our nation and to your soldiers, America's sons and daughters, to give them your very best leadership every single day. Also, take a moment to reflect and understand what it means to be a graduate of the United States Military Academy. People expect more from you as a graduate of this institution. You represent this institution and you represent the United States Army every single day. You now join a proud legacy of leaders of character who've committed themselves to selfless service and continual excellence, guided by our Army values and the ideals of duty, honor, country. Those ideals, they unify us and they define us. They define who you are as graduates of the United States Military Academy. And just as they've inspired you, you will now in turn inspire future generations. The class of 2025, you are ready to face the challenges that await you, prepared to live honorably, lead honorably, and demonstrate excellence in everything that you do. Congratulations and Godspeed to all of you. Mr. President, on behalf of the team at the United States Military Academy, it is an honor to present this outstanding class to you this morning as our nation's newest warfighters and leaders of character. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce this morning's commencement speaker, the 45th and 47th President of the United States, President Donald J. Trump.
Well, I want to thank you very much. This is a beautiful place. I've been here many times, going to high school, not so far away. A good place. Also a military academy, not quite of this distinction, but it was a lot of fun for me. And I just want to say hello, cadets. And on behalf of our entire nation, let me begin by saying congratulations to the West Point class of 2025. You are winners, every single one of you. Thank you. And now we want you to relax, and I'm supposed to say at ease, but you're already at ease. You're at ease because you made a great choice in what you're doing. Your choices in life have been really amazing. So this is a celebration, and let's have a little fun. I want to thank your highly respected Superintendent, General Stephen Gilland, and he is really something. I got to know him backstage with his beautiful family. And his reputation, his wife is just incredible. His reputation is unbelievable. And thank you very much. And your daughter is a winner also, just like everybody out there, a real winner. Thank you. Thank you. I also want to thank your Commandant General R.J. Garcia, Secretary of the Army Dan Driscoll, Army Chief of Staff General Randy George, Senator Ashley Moody, Representatives Steve Womack, Bill Heisinger, Pat Ryan, Mark Green, Keith Self, Acting U.S. Attorney Alina Haba, and very much just all of the friends. We have a lot of friends in the audience today, and I just want to thank them all for being here. We have a tremendous amount of my friends. They wanted to come up, and they wanted to watch this ceremony, and they wanted to watch you much more so than me. So I just want to thank so many people are here. Over the past 4 years, an extraordinary group of professors, teachers, coaches, leaders, and warriors have transformed this class of cadets into an exceptional group of scholars and soldiers. And so let's give the entire group, the entire West Point faculty, the staff, for their incredible love of you and outstanding devotion to the Corps. Let's give them a little hand. And importantly, we can't forget all of those people beaming with pride. Look at them in the audience. So they're so proud. They're in the stands. So thank your parents, your grandparents, and family members who made this all possible for you. Thank you. And I think they must have done something right based on what I'm looking at. America loves our military moms and dads. Nearly 1/3 of the cadets graduating today are themselves the children of veterans. So to everyone with us this morning who served America in uniform, no matter your age, please stand so we can salute your service. We'd like to see who you are. Congratulations. Great job. Every cadet on the field before me should savor this morning, because this is a day that you will never, ever forget. In a few moments, you'll become graduates of the most elite and storied military academy in human history, and you will become officers in the greatest and most powerful army the world has ever known. And I know because I rebuilt that army, and I rebuilt the military. And we rebuilt it like nobody has ever rebuilt it before in my first term. Your experience here at West Point has been anything but easy. Lethal warriors ever to walk on this planet. Say, mission accomplished. Great job. But now you have to go on. You have to forget that, because now you have another. It's a sad thing, isn't it? You know, can't rest on your laurels no matter what. You just have to keep going. You take a little day off, and you go on to the rest, because you have to have victory after victory after victory, and that's what you're going to have as you receive your commissions as second lieutenants. Each of you continues down the same hallowed path, walked by titans and legends of U.S. military lore, giants like Ulysses S. Grant, John Blackjack Pershing, Dwight David Eisenhower, the one and only Douglas MacArthur, old blood and guts George Patton, and Norman Schwarzkopf. All great. So many more. They and countless other patriots before you have walked out of these halls and straight into history, and today you officially join those immortal heroes in a proud ranks of the long gray line. You know that term, so beautiful, the long gray line. Among the 1,000 cadets graduating today, 26 of you wear the prestigious star wreath signifying the highest level of academic achievement. Please stand up. 26. Let's see if somebody stands who shouldn't be standing. This class includes an incredible 4 Rhodes Scholars. Stand up, please. 4. Wow. That's tied for the most of any West Point class since 1959. That's great. 4. Congratulations. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. I want to bring them right to the Oval Office. I don't want to have them go too far away from me. 8 cadets here today took on the challenge of designing their own hypersonic rocket. Oh, we can use you. We're building them right now. You know, we had ours stolen. We are the designer of it. We had it stolen during the Obama administration. They stole it. You know who stole it? The Russians stole it. Something bad happened. But we're the designer of it, and we're now building them, and lots of them. And earlier this year, they launched it into space, setting a world record for amateur rocketry. Can't get you in there fast enough. This class excelled not only mentally, but also physically last January, when more than 1,000 cadets volunteered for an 18.5-mile march on a freezing winter night. Cadet Chris Verdugo completed the task in 2 hours and 30 minutes flat, smashing the international record for the competition by 13 minutes. Where is he? Where is he? Come up here. Come up here, Chris. Get up here, Chris. Wow. Come here. That's by 13 minutes. Come here, Chris. I want to see this guy. Say something. Come here. Come here.
It's been a long 5 years, but I couldn't have done it with any of these guys. Love you guys all. Thank you.
Wow. That's great. Keep it going, Chris. That really is a definition of Army strong, isn't it? International. International. This class includes 513 graduates who completed Air Assault School, 70 who completed Airborne School, 8 who made it through the ultra-elite Army Diver School, among the most difficult and grueling programs anywhere on Earth. That includes the first 2 women in West Point history to complete diver school, cadets Megan Cooper and Clara Sabu. Where are you? Stand up. Where are they? Wow, great job. That is not easy. Congratulations, Megan, Clara. That's a job well done. Fantastic. Thank you very much. Some of you achieved a different kind of distinction here at the Academy, including 7 century men who completed 100 hours of marching for disciplinary, infractions. No, don't tell me I'm doing this. Oh, I'm so sorry. Would you like to stand up? I don't know. I think I saw Chris standing up. Chris, what's going on here? Well, you had one good, one not so good, right, Chris? Can't believe Chris is standing up. But we want everyone to leave here today, Chris, so you're going to be okay, because I'm going to do something with a clean slate. So in keeping with tradition, I hereby pardon all cadets on restriction for minor conduct offenses effective immediately. So you're all okay. You're all okay. The class of 2025 is a lot to be proud of, including your first-rate athletes and athletics. You are something. I've been watching, too. I love the sports stuff. What you've done is pretty amazing. Last year, for the first time ever, Army lacrosse became the #1 ranked men's lacrosse team in the entire country. Those of you on the team, stand. That's a big honor. Stand. Great. That's a tough sport, too. That's #1 in the country. Your sophomore year, Army football beat Navy 2017. And the next year, you did it again, beating Navy 17-11 and dominating Air Force 23-3. But this year, the Black Knights fought your way into the top 20 nationally and racked up your longest winning streak since 1949 with the help of graduating quarterback cadet Bryson Daly, or as you call him, Captain America. Captain America. Stand up, Bryson. Where's Bryson? We got to get him up here, right? Come on, Bryson. Come on. Man, oh, man. I heard he's well, I came to a game and I said, yeah, he can get into the NFL, can he? But he chose this life. And you know what? I think he made a good choice. Come on up here, Bryson. Come on up. Wow.
Go Army football. Shout out the Hogs, H4. Can't wait to graduate. Love you guys.
Well, I just tapped his shoulders like I hit a piece of steel. Guy's in good shape. There's a reason, you know, there's always a reason for success. Thank you, Bryson. At a time when other top college quarterbacks were thinking about going pro, Bryson's mind was on something else. As he told an interviewer earlier this year, I'm focused on my career as an infantry officer. That's what he wants to do. So, Bryson, you did the right thing, and that's service at its finest. Thanks, Bryson. That's amazing. He's an amazing guy with an amazing team. Each of you on the field today is among the most talented members of your generation. You could have done anything you wanted. You could have gone anywhere. You could have gone to any school. This is one of the hardest schools to get into. And writing your own ticket to top jobs on Wall Street or Silicon Valley wouldn't be bad, but I think what you're doing is better. Instead of sports teams and spreadsheets and software, you chose a life of service, very important service, instead of stock options. And I do that stuff. It's sort of boring. Honestly, compared to what you're doing, it's real boring. You chose honor and you chose sacrifice. And instead of business suits and dress shoes, you chose muddy boots and fatigues, keeping yourself in shape. Because West Point cadets don't just have the brightest minds, you also have the bravest hearts and the noblest souls. You're amazing people. I could not be more proud to serve you as your commander-in-chief, and our country is doing well. We've turned it around very quickly. We've turned it around. I just got back from the Middle East, and I was at, as you know, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, and I will tell you, they said, all three leaders, great leaders of those three nations, they all said the same thing. The United States of America is hotter now than we've ever seen it, and a year ago, it was as cold as it gets, and it's true. It's true. We have the hottest country in the world, and the whole world is talking about it. And that's an honor for all of us. I cannot wait to see the glory that is still ahead, however, for the West Point class of 2025, and we're going to help you a lot because we're going to give you a nation as good or better than it ever was. That's what I promise you. All the victories that you've had together on these grounds will soon pale in comparison to the momentous deeds that you'll perform on the mission you're accepting today. And as a future leader of America's Army, and we have that Army geared up, we have ordered, we just went $1 trillion military budget, General. Do you know that? $1 trillion. Some people say, could you cut it back? I said, I'm not cutting 10 cents. There's another thing we can cut. We can cut plenty of others. Right, Dan? We can cut plenty of other things. And you have a good man in Dan, too, General. I think you're going to find that. It's a very different warfare out there today. Now they've introduced a thing called drone. A drone is a little bit different. It makes you have to go back and learn a whole new form of warfare, and you're going to do it better than anybody else. There won't be anybody close. Generation after generation, the men and women of the Army have done whatever it takes to defend our flag, pouring out their blood onto the fields of battle all over the world. And all over the world, you're respected like nobody is respected. Our soldiers have sprinted through storms of bullets, clouds of shrapnel, slogged through miles of dirt and oceans of sand, scaled towering cliffs of jagged rock. And time again, the American soldier has charged into the fires of hell and sent the devil racing in full retreat. No task has ever been too tough for America's Army. And now that 250-year legacy of glory and triumph belongs to you, the 1,000 newest officers of the greatest fighting force in the history of the world. And that's what you are, and that's what you're being thought of. Again, you are the first West Point graduates of the golden age of America. This is the golden age, I tell you. Promise. We're in a new age. This is the golden age. And you are going to lead the Army to summits of greatness that has never reached before. And you see that. You see what's happening. You see what's going on in the world. Each of you is entering the Officer Corps at a defining moment in the Army's history. For at least 2 decades, political leaders from both parties have dragged our military into missions it was never meant to be. It wasn't meant to be. People would say, why are we doing this? Why are we wasting our time, money, and souls in some case. They sent our warriors on nation-building crusades to nations that wanted nothing to do with us, led by leaders that didn't have a clue in distant lands, while abusing our soldiers with absurd ideological experiments here and at home. All of that's ended. You know that. All of it's ended. It's ended, strongly ended. They're not even allowed to think about it anymore. They subjected the armed forces to all manner of social projects and political causes while leaving our borders undefended and depleting our arsenals to fight other countries' wars. We fought for other countries' borders, but we didn't fight for our own border, but now we do, like we have never fought before, by the way. But under the Trump administration, those days are over. We're getting rid of the distractions, and we're focusing our military on its core mission, crushing America's adversaries, killing America's enemies, and defending our great American flag like it has never been defended before. The job of the U.S. Armed Forces is not to host drag shows, to transform foreign cultures, or to spread democracy to everybody around the world at the point of a gun. The military's job is to dominate any foe and annihilate any threat to America, anywhere, anytime, and any place. A big part of that job is to be respected again, and you are, as of right now, respected more than any army anywhere in the world, and that's happening, and I can tell you, you are respected like nobody can believe. As president, I am laser focused on our core national interests. My preference will always be to make peace and to seek partnership, even with countries where our differences may be profound. As you know, we're working on a lot of things right now. When I left office 4 years ago, we had no wars, we had no problems, we had nothing but success. We had the most incredible economy, the greatest, single greatest economy for a president in history. I think we're going to beat it this time by a lot, if you want to know the truth. But we had something going on very special. But if the United States or its allies are ever threatened or attacked, the Army will obliterate our opponents with overwhelming strength and devastating force. That's why my administration has begun a colossal buildup of the United States Armed Forces, a buildup like we've never had before. Peace through strength. You know the term. I've used it a lot. Because as much as you want to fight, I'd rather do it without having to fight. I just want to look at them and have them fold. And that's happening. That's happening. And I've approved a $1 trillion investment, and that will be, again, the largest ever in the history of our country. And we are buying you new airplanes, brand new, beautiful planes, redesigned planes, brand new planes, totally stealth planes. I hope they're stealth. I don't know. That whole stealth thing, I'm sort of wondering. You mean if we shape a wing this way, they don't see it, but the other way they see it? I'm not so sure. But that's what they tell me. We have the best tanks anywhere in the world. We're going to start shipbuilding again. We're going to start ship. We used to build a ship a day. Now we don't build them anymore. We had a lot of people that didn't know much about getting things built, but that's all I've done in my life is build. We're going to have the best missiles. We already do. Drones and much, much more. And earlier this week, I think you'll like this, I announced that we are officially building all in America, made in America, designed in America. We're the only ones that could do it because we're the only ones with the great technology. We're building the Golden Dome missile defense shield to protect our homeland and to protect West Point from attack. and it will be completed before I leave office. And you know, you wouldn't think this, but our enemies are very unhappy about it. You've been hearing, you've been reading. Why are they doing that? Why? Well, we're doing it because we want to be around for a long time. That's why we're doing it. We're also restoring the fundamental principle that a central purpose of our military is to protect our own borders from invasion. Our country was invaded for the last 4 years, and they've allowed people to come into our country that shouldn't be here. Criminals walk in, no vetting, no checking, no nothing. Where are they coming from? And they were taking people out of prisons, they were taking gang members, they were taking the mentally insane and allowing them to come in, and we're getting them out of our country. We have no choice. We're getting them out and bringing them back where they came from. Have no choice. And it's not easy. It's not easy. But hopefully the courts will allow us to continue. You know, we had the greatest election victory. This was November 5th. We won the popular vote by millions of votes. We won all 7 swing states. We won everything. We won 2,750 districts against 505. 2,750 against 505. We had a great mandate, and it gives us the right to do what we want to do to make our country great again, and that's what we're going to do. And on day one, I deployed our military to the southern border. And since that day, we've reduced the number of illegal border crossings where there used to be hundreds of thousands of people coming into our country a day. We had nobody come in the last week and a half. We were at 99.999%. 99.999. Think of that. That was with the help of our military. We had one person come in. One. You know why? He got very sick. We brought him through to have him brought to a hospital. One person. And for that, please don't hold me responsible, but that's okay. They did the right thing. Gone are the days where defending every nation but our own was the primary thought. We are putting America first. We have to put America first. We have to rebuild and defend our nation. And very shortly, you're going to see a nation better than it's ever been. And you see that with the trade. For years, we've been ripped off by every nation in the world on trade. We've been ripped off at the NATO level. We've been ripped off like no country has ever been ripped off, but they don't rip us off anymore. They're not going to rip us off anymore. And you're seeing it. You have to watch what we're doing on trade. I know it's not your primary thing, but it's quite important in all fairness. But watch. You'll see what's going on. You've been reading about it over the last few days. We're making deals with other nations that were nobody thought it would be even possible. And the reason is very simple. They respect us again. They're respecting our country again. That's what you want. And everything we do, we are bringing common sense back to America. It's all about common sense. We can say we're liberal, we're conservative. The new word is progressive. They don't like using the word liberal anymore. That's why I call them liberal. But whatever you are, you know, most importantly, you have to have common sense, because most of it's about common sense when you get right down to it. And we have a lot of people with a lot of very smart people, but they have to have common sense. And we've liberated our troops from divisive and demeaning political trainings. There will be no more critical race theory or transgender for everybody forced onto our brave men and women in uniform, or on anybody else for that matter in this country. And we will not have men playing in women's sports, if that's okay. I mean, I wouldn't want to have to tackle, as an example, Bryson as a man. But I don't think a lot of women want to tackle him. I don't think so. How crazy is it? men playing in women's sports. How crazy is it? So ridiculous, so demeaning to women. And it's over. That's over. We've ended it. And promotions and appointments will not be based on politics or identity. They'll be based on merit. We won that case in the Supreme Court of the United States. We're allowed to go back to a system of merit. We're a merit-based country again today. Recruiting shortfalls, and just last year was the worst of all, the last year of the Biden administration. We couldn't get anybody to join our military. We couldn't get anybody to join our police or firefighters. We couldn't get anybody to join anything. And right now, just less than a year later, we just set a brand new peacetime recruiting record, the most people joined, and we are brimming. In fact, be careful. There's somebody going to try and take your job. Be careful. You better be good. We are brimming with confidence, and we're brimming with people. We had the best recruiting month that we've had in memory. Nobody remembers anything like it. And that's all because they have spirit now. They have spirit. They have a spirit for our country. And now everybody wants to be doing what you're doing. Think of that. So it's really a great honor, I will say. And I'm pleased to report that by next week, the Army is expected to surpass its recruiting targets for the entire year, something that hasn't happened in 28 years where we've had that. So that's pretty good. And it's nice to know that you're doing something that everybody wants to do, isn't it? Really nice. Listen, I hated to hear that. During the campaign, I was hearing that you couldn't get people to enlist, but now we're getting people, and it's sad because we're telling so many people, I'm sorry, we can't do it. My administration is doing everything possible to forge the most powerful military ever built. But ultimately, the task of keeping America strong and safe in the years ahead is going to belong to you. Among you are the lieutenants, majors, colonels, and generals who lead the Army for the next 10, 20, 30, and even 40 years. So as Commander-in-Chief, let me offer a few words of advice as you begin your Army careers. And I thought I'd do this, and I can make this to a civilian audience or to a military audience. It's pretty much the same. And I did this recently at Ohio State, and they really liked it. I gave them a little advice as to what I see for what you want to do and some tips. And first of all, and you've already done it, different from civilians, they're making their decision right now. You've already made your decision. I love your decision. You have to do what you love. You have to do what you love. If you don't love it, you'll never be successful at it. And you've done this, and you really, many of you in the audience, many of you that are graduating, you come from military backgrounds or you love the military. It's what you want to do. It's what you want to talk about. One thing I see about people that love the military, that's all they want to talk about. I'll be out to dinner, and generals, if they love their job, usually the only good ones are the ones that want to talk about it all the time. But if they talk, that's what they want to talk about. I really, very rarely see somebody who's successful that doesn't love what he or she does. You have to love what you do. In your case, the military is what you chose, and I'll tell you what, you cannot go wrong. You're going to see it too. You're going to love it more and more with time. You know, I work all the time. That's all I do is I work, whether it's politically or before that. I was a very good businessman, in case you haven't heard, really good. But I was good because I loved it. I loved it. I learned from my father a little bit. My father was a happy guy, and all he did was work. He'd work Saturdays, Sundays. He'd work all the time, and he was a happy guy. He just loved life. And I learned that. I say, you know, it makes him happy. I've seen other people that never work, and they're not happy. You got to love it. Otherwise, you won't be successful. In the Army, there are a lot of different paths you can take. So follow your instincts and make sure that you take the path that you love, that you're doing something that you love within your military, you will be happier and the Army will be far stronger for it. Second is to think big. Always think big. If you're going to do something, you might as well think big, do it big, because it's just as tough, and sometimes it's a lot easier thinking big than doing a small task that's more difficult. One of your greatest graduates, General Eisenhower, used to say, whenever I run into a problem that I can't solve, I always like to make it bigger to solve it and solve more of it. If you're going to solve a problem, it might as well be a big problem as opposed to a small problem that lots of people can take advantage of and solve. So you can achieve something really amazing. Think big. Third, though, you got to do this. Brain power you have to have. Potential you have to have. But to be really successful, you're always going to have to work hard. An example is a great athlete, Gary Player, great golfer. He wasn't as big as the other men that were playing against him, great, big, strong guys. Gary was a smaller guy. I don't want to say too small. He's a friend of mine. He gets a little angry at people because he hits the ball just as far. He said, I hit the ball further than them. Why am I small? But he worked very, very hard. He was always doing exercise. He was well ahead of his time. He never stopped. He won 168 golf tournaments. He won 18 majors, 9 regular and 9 on the senior tour. 18 with 168. That's the most tournaments internationally, the most tournaments anybody's ever won. But he made a statement years ago, and I heard it. He's the first one. I think I've heard it a couple of times since, but he was the first. He said, it's funny. The harder I work, the luckier I get. And think of that. The harder I work, the luckier I get. And he worked hard, and you're working hard, and the harder you work, the luckier you're going to get. Fourth is, don't lose your momentum. Momentum's an amazing thing. Keep it going. I tell a story sometimes about a man who was a great, great real estate man. He was a man who was admired for real estate all over the world, actually, but all over the country. He built Levittowns. He started as a man who built one house. Then he built 2. Then he built 5. Then he built 20. Then he built 1,000. Then he built 2,000 and 3,000 a year. And he got very big, very big. He was great at what he did. You see him all over the country still, Levittowns. This was a long time ago, but he was the first of the really, really big home builders. And he became very rich, became a very rich man. And then he decided to sell. He was offered a lot of money by a big conglomerate, Gulf and Western, big conglomerate. They didn't do real estate. They didn't know anything about it, but they saw the money he was making. They wanted to take it to a public company. And they gave him a lot of money, tremendous amount of money, more money than he ever thought he'd get. And he sold his company, and he had nothing to do. He ended up getting a divorce, found a new wife. Could you say a trophy wife? I guess we can say a trophy wife. It didn't work out too well, but that doesn't work out too well, I must tell you. A lot of trophy wives, doesn't work out. But it made him happy for a little while at least. But he found a new wife. He sold his little boat and he got a big yacht. He had one of the biggest yachts anywhere in the world. He moved for a time to Monte Carlo and he led the good life. And time went by and he got bored. And 15 years later, the company that he sold to called him and they said, the housing business is not for us. You have to understand, when Bill Levitt was hot, when he had momentum, he'd go to the job sites every night. He'd pick up every loose nail. He'd pick up every scrap of wood. If there was a bolt or a screw laying on the ground, he'd pick it up and he'd use it the next day in putting together a house. But now he was spoiled and he was rich. He was really rich. And they called and they said, this isn't for us, this business. We do other things. Would you like to buy it back? We'll sell it back to you cheap. And they did. He bought it. He bought it He thought he made a great deal, and he was all excited, but it was 15 years later. He lost a lot of momentum. Remember the word momentum. And he lost everything. It just didn't work. He lost everything. And I was sitting at a party on Fifth Avenue one night, a long time ago, and you had the biggest people in New York, the biggest people in the country, all in that party, and they were all saluting each other, how great they were. They were all telling each other, I'm greater than you. Gets to be really, gives you a headache sometimes. But they had all these people, they're telling their own stories about how fantastic, a cocktail party, and I looked over, and I was doing well. I was invited to the party, so I had to be doing well. I was very, very young. But I made a name in real estate, and I looked over, and at the party, sitting in a corner all by himself, nobody was talking to him, was Mr. Levitt. He had just gone bankrupt, lost everything. He had lost everything, his home, everything. And I went over and talked to him because he was in the real estate business, and I loved real estate. And I said, hello, Mr. Levitt, how are you? He said, hello, Donald, it's nice to meet you. He knew me from being in the business. I said, so how's it going? He goes, not well. It's really not going well, as you've probably read. It's been a very, very tough period for me, son. I said, so what happened? It's just anything you can do? He goes, no, there's not a thing I can do. He said, I'll never forget. He said, I've lost my momentum. I just didn't have it. I used to have it, but I lost my momentum. So it's a story I tell, and you have to know when you have the momentum, but sometimes you have to also know when you've lost the momentum. And leaving a field sometimes, leaving what you're doing sometimes is okay. But you got to have momentum, but you have to know if that momentum's gone. You have to know when to say it's time to get out. And it's a very sad story. I remember that story so well, like it was yesterday. Fifth, you have to have the courage to take risks and to do things differently. Eisenhower, again, was threatened with court-martials as a young officer for advocating a new doctrine of tank warfare. Billy Mitchell was thrown out of the Army for pioneering the use of air power. They said, what do you mean air power? Don't be ridiculous. People willing to try and do things differently. It's never going to be easy for them, but they're the ones that are going to really do the important things. They're the ones who are going to make history. So don't be ashamed and don't be afraid. This is a time of incredible change, and we do not need an officer corps of careerists and yes men and people that want to keep it going the way it's been, because it changes rapidly, especially what you're doing. Because believe it or not, you're in a business and profession where things change as rapidly like warfare, the type of warfare. Unfortunately, we're getting to see it with Russia and Ukraine, and we're studying it, and it's a very terrible thing to study. But we're seeing the different forms of warfare. We're seeing the drones that are coming down at angles and with speed and with precision. We've never seen anything like it. We've never seen anything like it, and we're learning from it. But your profession changes very rapidly. You've got to be at the top of it. You've got to be right at the head of the needle. We need patriots with guts and vision and backbone who take personal risks to ensure that America wins every single time. We want to win our battles. You know, I defeated ISIS in 3 weeks. They told me it would take 5 years. And the general that did it, you know that story, was named Raisin Cane. His name is Dan Cane, but his nickname was Raisin Cane. I said, your name is Raisin Cane. I love that. Is that a nickname? That's what they call me, sir. I love you, General. I think you're the guy I'm looking for. I want to know a guy named Raisin Cane, and he is now the head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and he's a highly respected man. And we defeated, think of it, ISIS. They said, how long in Washington? Sir, it will take 4 years to defeat them, maybe 5. And maybe we won't, because they're all over the place. And then I met a man that said we can do it in 3 weeks, and he did it, 3 weeks. And that's why he's the head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff right now. And we did things that nobody thought were possible. We've had great military success. when you have the right leader and you have the right people, and we have the right people, you're going to have tremendous success. 6, never lose your faith in America and the American people, because they're always going to be there for you. I went through a very tough time with some very radicalized, sick people, and I say I was investigated more than the great, late Alphonse Capone. Alphonse Capone was a monster. He was a very hardened criminal. I went through more investigations than Alphonse Capone, and now I'm talking to you as president. Can you believe this? Can you believe it? So you got to fight hard. You got to never give up, and don't let bad people take you down. You got to take them down. Got a lot of bad people out there, and those people, you have to figure it out. But you also have a lot of great people. Finally, hold on to your culture and your traditions, because that's what makes something really great, and that's what's made the Army great, the culture and the tradition. Whether we're talking about a battalion, a business, a sports team, or even a nation, history has shown that in many ways culture is destiny. So do not let anyone destroy the culture of winning. You have to win. Winning is a beautiful thing. Losing, not for us. It's not for us. Not for anybody here. If it was, you wouldn't be here. From the earliest days of our nation, this supreme tradition of American military service has been passed down from soldier to soldier and generation to generation, and it's a beautiful thing to watch. Graduating today is Cadet Ricky McMahon, Ricky's great-grandfather. Stand up wherever you are, Ricky, because you're going to like this. Ricky's great-grandfather served in World War I. His grandfather served in World War II. And his uncle, father, and mother all graduated from West Point. Where is Ricky? In 2004, when Ricky was just a little tiny boy, who would think about that, Ricky, a little tiny boy? His dad, Lieutenant Colonel Michael McMahon, made the ultimate sacrifice for our nation in Afghanistan. Today, Lieutenant Colonel McMahon rests not far from here in the West Point Cemetery. Last year, 2 decades after losing his father, Ricky placed a gold chip from his dad's 1985 class ring into a crucible along 87 other rings were with it, of past West Point grads that were melted down to forge those now worn by the class of 2025. Do you all know that? Do you know that? What you're wearing? I want one. Ricky, I want one. Each of you will carry Michael's memory with you always as you continue the legacy he gave you. It gave you something that would be so proud. He would be so proud. He is proud as he looks down. To Ricky and his mom, Jeanette, you embody what this place is all about. And I know Michael, he's up there, he's smiling broadly, so proud. He's so proud of you today, you know that. And he's a man that couldn't be, and he is a man that couldn't be more proud. And I want to I just love that story. And everybody's ring, they're going to remember you, they're going to remember your family, and most importantly, you're going to remember a great tradition. It's a great tradition of West Point and of winners. Thank you very much. It's great to meet you. Thank you. You can sit down. You want to come up? If you want to come up, come up. Come on up. Come on up here. That's nice. You're a handsome guy. They're all good looking here. I don't know what's going on. The whole crowd is beautiful. Thank you very much.
I'd like to thank my mother. I'd like to thank my family. And I'd like to thank G3. Go Gophers.
These are good-looking people, I'll tell you, General. What's going on over here? Look like all a bunch of male models. I can't stand it. For 2.5 centuries, our republic has endured because of heroes like Michael. They've laid down their lives for America, and because young people like all of you have picked up the banner of service and carried forward the flag of freedom from Lexington to Yorktown, from Gettysburg to Sicily, and from Incheon to Fallujah. America has been won and saved by an unbroken chain of soldiers and patriots who ran to the sound of the guns, leapt into the maw of battle, and charged into the crucible of fire to seize the crown of victory, no matter the odds, no matter the cost, no matter the danger. All over the world, our soldiers have made sacred the ground where they shed their blood and showed their valor. From Seminary Ridge to San Juan Hill, Belleau Wood, Omaha Beach, Leyte Gulf, and Ardennes Forest, Chosin Reservoir, all over, and even a place called Pork Chop Hill. And in all of those battles and so many more, some of the best, brightest, and bravest have come from right here at the U.S. Military Academy at West Point, one of the great fabled places anywhere in the world. America's Army has never failed us, and with leaders like the West Point class of 2025, the Army will never fail. We will never let you down. And over the last week, I had the honor of speaking to the heads of many countries, and they would say, 2 weeks ago, they say the 8th, they said, "Sir, we're celebrating the victory today of World War II." And I said, "Wow, that's nice." Then I'd call another one, unrelated. "Sir, we're celebrating the victory of World War II." Then I called up President of France on something also unrelated. He said, "Sir, we're celebrating our victory over World War II." I said, "Whoa, whoa, what have we here?" We helped them a lot. And I had this. Russia, I talked to Putin about ending that terrible war that's going on, and he said they're having a big victory march. And they did lose, in all fairness, 51 million people. But they were all celebrating. The only country that wasn't celebrating was the United States of America. And I said, "Isn't it amazing? We were the ones that won the war, and we were helped. We were helped. In some cases, we had to help them. But we were helped by some of the nations, and we were strongly helped by a couple of them. But every one of them was celebrating. They had Victory Day. They called it Victory Day in Europe, Victory Day all over. And we weren't even thought about. Nobody had a Victory Day. And so I named that special day and another special day from now on as a holiday, but a holiday where we work. Because we don't have enough days. We're going to be having so many holidays, we're not going to be able to work anymore. But I named it for World War II, and a separate day in November, as you know, for World War I. I said, you know, all of these countries that participated in the war are celebrating, but the greatest country of them all, and the country that won the war, nobody even talked about. And so we're going to be talking about it, too, from now on. And I think you'll appreciate it. We won the First World War. We won the Second World War. And you know where we won them from? Right here at West Point. West Point won the war. You won 2 world wars and plenty of other things. But think of it. We don't want to have a 3rd World War. But we won the First World War. We won the Second World War right here from West Point. And that's something. And we're going to be talking about it. You know, they can talk about it, And in some cases, as you know, they didn't do too much to help. They were ground down, but they were celebrating victory. No, we're going to celebrate victory because we're the ones that won that war. Standing before you today, I know that you will never stop. You will never quit. You will never yield. You will never tire. You will never, ever, ever surrender. Never give up. Remember that. Never give up. That's another little factor I could have added. Never, ever give up. Raise your right hand. I pledge I will never, ever give up. You can never give up. You can never give up. If you do, you're not going to be successful because you'll go through things that will be bad. You're going to have great moments. You're going to have bad moments. You can never give up. Through every challenge and every battle, you'll stand strong. You'll work hard. You'll stay tough. And you will fight, 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 and win, win, win. So I want to just congratulate you all. I'm going back now to deal with Russia, to deal with China. What's that all about? And to get you lots of victories. We're going to keep winning. This country is going to keep winning. And with you, the job is easy. I want to thank you all. Congratulations to the class of 2025. God bless you all. Incredible people. Thank you very much, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please remain standing for the presentation of the class gift. The class president, Cadet Catherine LaRue, will present a panoramic photo of the class of 2025 to the president.
President Trump, on behalf of the class of 2025, I would like to present you with this class photo as a token of appreciation for your inspiring words today. Thank you, sir.
Beautiful. Thank you very much.
Hey, attention. Hey, three. Cut. Hey, present. On.
Class, attention. Cover. Present. Arms.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the departure of the president.
Awesome to see the Commander-in-Chief in West Point, New York this morning, delivering yet another great commencement address to the cadets there, the class of 2025. Quite awesome to see that. President Trump working an extra day, of course, always working 7 days a week. The Commander-in-Chief seems to always have it on his mind, our country, we the people, the Constitution, and the freedoms that we have here in this country. The White House posted yesterday, as the Vice President was at the Naval Academy, simply the land of the free, or land of the free, showing an image or the moment the Blue Angels flew over there in Annapolis, Maryland. So all of this brought to you by some great sponsors, including Colonial Metals Group. freegoldguide.com/RSBN is the website to go to. So it's freegoldguide.com/RSBN. So if you're looking for gold or silver as a backup to the US dollar, this is the place to do it. 401ks and tax sheltered IRAs, all backed in gold, 100% tax free. And you can get that free gold guide by going to freegoldguide.com/RSBN. Also, allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. You see there the RSBN 20 promo code. At the end of June will be the end of this sale here. They usually have a 10% off code. This time it's 20% off. You can order in bulk. If you want amoxicillin or penicillin, or how about ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, methylene blue, there's more than 200 essential medications there at your fingertips. All you got to do is go to allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. They have some kits as well, travel kit, first aid kit, and the like. Great company there. So is freetrumpbook.com with Mike Huckabee. You'll see him on the bottom right of your screen. Of course, the U.S. ambassador to Israel, obviously the former governor of Arkansas, has his own show and all, and wrote a number of books with his staff. freetrumpbook.com. Check it out. There's a lot of great titles on there as well. So it's 11/19 Saturday, May 24th, and guess what? President Trump is having a rally on May 30th, actually. So May 30th, this is this coming Friday next week. So we know that we'll have a rally to cover here at Right Side. Let's go over a number of other elements here as we're standing by right now. All right, so let's go to the programming notes I'll share with you in just a second, but we're going to go to the Secretary of the Army from earlier on X. Check it out.
Hello and congratulations to our newly commissioned officers. I'm Dan Driscoll, Secretary of the Army. Today isn't just about putting on your gold bars, it's about embracing the Army's 250-year legacy, and the legacy you've already begun through your decision to join us. On behalf of the President, Secretary of Defense, and the entire Army, congratulations on your achievements and your decision to serve in the world's most powerful land fighting force. You are now joining the ranks of soldiers who for 250 years have answered the call to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. Our Army needs leaders who prioritize warfighting, excellence, and who take care of those around them. Our soldiers need leaders who always do what's right, lead by example even when it's difficult, and empower soldiers to succeed. I can say with absolute confidence that our soldiers are the very best that our nation has to offer. They can do anything when we enable them. So embrace this responsibility, lead with integrity, and embody the oath you swore today. I'm proud of you for taking this step and joining our ranks, and it is an absolute honor to serve as your secretary. Thank you, and may God bless you, our soldiers, and the United States of America. This will defend.
The next generation of the Army, a lot of good recruiting numbers out there. And when you have a commander-in-chief like President Trump, you definitely want to get behind someone like that. So obviously it was great to see the president. If you want to watch any of his speech, you can replay or just scrub back on this live feed right now and check it out. Let me go over the programming schedule, and then we'll be wrapping it up here this morning at 11/21, Saturday, May 24th. So May 26th, on Monday, Memorial Day, we'll have live coverage right here in studio. Robert McNeely will be hosting. He'll have the coverage of the Arlington National Cemetery wreath laying by President Trump. So we'll have that here for you on Monday. On May 30th, coming up on Friday, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, we will be in Pittsburgh, of course, for the U.S. Steel presidential rally that's going to be there. So looking forward to seeing a rally in the Steel City in western Pennsylvania. That's on May 30th. Then June 14th, Flag Day, President Trump's birthday, but also the 250th celebration of the United States Army, that huge parade in Arlington, Virginia, outside of the Pentagon, the National Mall, thousands of soldiers and helicopters and Army equipment, vehicles. You're going to see all of that live coverage here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. And then the president in June of 15th, on Father's Day through the 17th, is the G7 in Canada. President Trump will be attending that as well. So a number of programming notes that you can watch right here on RSBN Live. Thank you so much for tuning in today, for streaming in live wherever you're watching, including the great streaming site Rumble. Thank you guys so much. I hope you have a great weekend, and we will remember on Monday, on Memorial Day, all of what our soldiers and what all of our military members have fought for, freedom for our country. And thank God we have a president, Commander-in-Chief Donald J. Trump, leading the way. I'm Matthew Alvarez. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you soon.
I'm Elmer Heinrich, the 91-year-old formulator of Immuno 150, an incredible nutritional supplement. There's nothing like it. Now, Immuno 150 is different because it contains 70 plant-derived minerals and 80 other nutrients. Dr. Linus Pauling, known for vitamin C, was instrumental in convincing me to get into the mineral business in 1983. He said the world is sick due to a lack of minerals in topsoil. He said the body needs 60 minerals, but the average food and supplement has no more than 12. That's the reason for Immuno 150. Since its inception, it's had a powerful impact on the lives of thousands of people who could not get any help from various supplements they took or their doctor. Now, I suggest you try Immuno 150 to see what 70 minerals, CoQ10, and 80 nutrients can do for you. Look at the 2 videos on our website. Millions have. Now, consider placing an order for Immuno 150 online or call our toll-free number. I know you'll be glad you did.
President Trump is keeping his promises and saving America. And your kids can learn all about it for free with a new Kids Guide to President Trump. This fun guide shows kids all the steps President Trump is taking to put America back on top of the world stage, including building a strong economy, protecting our borders, and negotiating trade deals. It's an exciting way for kids to learn about President Trump's outstanding leadership. Act now and get a free bonus guide, The Courage of the President. Order now at freetrumpbook.com. That's freetrumpbook.com.